Welcome. Good morning. My name is Jill Nimchek, and I am a health educator here at the Marshfield Clinic, region of Sanford Health. I want to welcome you to this webinar on No One Goes Hungry, Community Programs Making a Difference, and how out-of-school time programs drive food security. This program is brought to you by the Wisconsin Out of School Time Alliance, which is a program of the Marshfield Clinic, region of Sanford Health. I would like to let you know that our next webinar is in January, so please keep a lookout for future messages about registration, or at the end, we will have a QR code where you can register for more of that information. Also, at the end of this presentation, we do have a short survey where you can give us feedback. We really appreciate you taking the time to do this so we can adapt resources to meet your needs. So with all of those logistics kind of aside, I would like to introduce you to our speakers today. So we have Julie Tremmel from the Stevens Point YMCA, and we will have Nikki Stearns from the Nakusa School District, and Courtney Kramalis from the La Crosse YMCA. So we will be able to hear from these three individuals today, talking about their organizations and spotlighting their food security programs. So we will let each of them have about 8 to 10 minutes to talk about their programs. Then we will take any questions, and then we will have a closing. So we're going to go ahead and start right with Julie. So Julie, I will pull up your information. So you're welcome to unmute and go ahead.
Good morning. Like she said, my name is Julie. I work for the Stevens Point area YMCA, and I am lucky enough this semester to have an AmeriCorps member who's with me as well, and her name is Kelsey. These are some of the things that we're doing here at the Stevens Point area YMCA. If you want to flip to the next. So we recently started a childcare food pantry in our childcare wing. I have found that location is key for our families. And with this pantry, we provide non-perishable foods. We assist families. And to get that pantry started, we use some of our Marshfield food grant to get it initially started. And what we have found, so we had stocked that pantry, and within 48 hours, our families came together and doubled our size of our pantry, which was pretty awesome. So we had to add another cart, and then we added another shelf with that pantry. So if you want to go to the next slide. So this is what our food pantry kind of started with. It was a small shelf. We have a sign that says, take what you need, donate what you can. So it's been really great to see the families helping out. Here's our first shopping spree that we went over to Aldi's and got some food and items for that pantry. So that was a lot of fun. Next slide. And now you can see it has doubled, and sometimes it's always full, but we continue to add things to our pantry. And what I find is that I'll be walking down the hallway, and people now, or I come to my office and they're like, here's some things for your food pantry. So it's really great to see that expanding. And then recently, in the last week or so, we added our second food pantry, and this time we made it available for our members here at the YMCA. And we put it in a location that would be accessible to, we offer 24-hour service here at the Y. So if our members that come in and work out, they have ability to have that food as well. And so that is, we're starting to see things get depleted from that. And then there's resources that we have hung on our wall here, here are some additional food pantries. Here are some things that you can add to the food pantry. Next slide. So we were lucky enough, we had one of our childcare families reach out. They loved that we were doing a food pantry. So they wanted to give back to our childcare. So with that being said, they donated a fridge and freezer just strictly for the food pantry. And they are farmers. And so with that, they donate fresh eggs to our childcare families, so it's not just the dry food items. And they donate fresh chickens as well. So it's really cool to see that. We see those eggs are huge. They come in every week and they kind of take care of that, making sure that there's always eggs in there. And the only thing they ask from us is if people can bring back the egg containers. And we see a lot of the chickens go, especially around that Thanksgiving time. So families couldn't afford maybe a turkey, then they had some protein available for their families. Next slide. So here are, it's a picture of our chickens being taken with one of our staff, Colton, and then on our signs and stuff, we talked about what the benefits of eggs are and chicken and things like that. So it helps families, if they take these things, these will be the health benefits that you can utilize. Next, with my position, which was added a little over a year ago, we started with one of our sites that were on the CEA CFP program. We've now added additional 6 sites to that program with our childcare, our school age, and our camp. And this just really allows us to promote that healthy growth and development within children. We do hands-on learning. So we go into the classrooms, myself and our AmeriCorps member, and we teach kids about different healthy living and healthy activities. So if you want to hit the next slide. So here are a few examples of what we have done with the kids. This is our older group. On this particular day, we had different melons. Some of the kids saw the melons and they're like, ooh, I don't like that. Or, they didn't, it was new seeing the green or the orange melon. And then we kind of did a graph because they are older on which fruits and vegetables or which melons that the kids liked. And then kind of expanded on some of those keywords, soft, yummy, cold. And we had stuff cut up for them. And then we allowed them to feel the melon so that they could see what the outer part of the melon looked like as well. Next. And this one was with our younger kids. This is our 1 and 2-year-olds. And we did kiwi with the kids, and we chose to do the white or rather than the green, because sometimes that green can be scary for kids. And we have found that the kids really liked it. And then we gave feedback to our families as well, letting them know that their kids really like kiwis, and that was introduced the families that they didn't know that their kids, that a fruit that they typically didn't buy. And then we do always a story with the kids as well. Next. This one is a pumpkin. These are our 3-year-olds. So with this one, they got a pumpkin story, and they got to paint pumpkins, and then they got to feel inside the pumpkins, and then we roasted seeds for them as well so that they could taste what it tasted for the inside. With this particular group, we have found that they it's kind of a hard group to get everyone to participate, and they really enjoyed this experience. And this is our 4K group. This one we did sun butter spiders with the kids in English muffins, and we did a spider story with them. So they truly enjoyed this and they had a great time. And this is a picture of our AmeriCorps member, Kelsey. And then we do once a month, we do a Food-alicious family fun with our kids. And what this means is we prepackaged snacks for our families. They get sent home. So everything is ready for them. They're very simple. If it's fruit or whatnot, I have it all cut up, and they can make activities with them. We provide them the recipe. We let them know it's prepared in a licensed kitchen. And then we encourage the families to send their pictures along when they do that Foodalicious Family Fun. And here's an example of some of the pictures that we received from the families. And what I've really found is the feedback that when I do get feedback, sometimes parents, maybe a grandma or grandpa will be watching them, and it's just a fun activity that they can do. Grandma's watching for the day, and it's a fun activity that they can do with other than parents. So we've had good feedback with that. And then we dressed up our hallways to encourage those healthy foods. We've put colorful posters around our building, healthy plates and balanced meals displayed for the kids. And we just highlighted those different activities that we are doing to introduce those kids to different healthy foods. And then we always have our CACFP poster board, but we expanded it into a different bulletin board. So really this is one of the first things you see other than our licensing board when you come into our facility. But it gives the parents different activities and things about our food program and what we offer, and some resources for the families as well. In this example here, this is one of our posters that we did to make our hallways colorful and introduce those kids to different fruits and vegetables. And then in our all of our programs, we also added a vegetable of the month or fruit of the month, and then we give them we talk about what their healthy resources are, and then we provide them with recipes as well. So, if you have a squash or something in there now, what do I do with the squash? That is available for them. So here's a few examples of what we have created so that we can send that home with our families. And we did at our offsite locations, we have bulletin boards that are displayed, and we've had really positive feedback from our families when they walk into the site, because that's one of the first things that they see. And so that's kind of those things that we are doing at the Stevens Point Area YMCA, and we continue to grow, come up with different activities, but it's been great working with the kids and the staff and creating those healthy food environments for the kids.
Thank you, Julie. Those are some fun events. I had an opportunity to be on site when the kids were testing out the kiwi, and I have never seen so many kids eat so many kiwi. So really, really great things. If anyone has any questions for Julie right now, you can pop those into the chat and we can kind of ask that, or you can save them when we answer at the end. So Nikki, you are going next. So this is Nikki.
So they don't hear me.
This is Nikki from the Nakusa School District. They are in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA of Southwood County.
Hello.
Hi, Nikki. Thank you for joining us. So I will run your slides here so you can just tell me when to move forward.
All right, so I'm Nikki Stearns, and I run the Nakusa Food Pantry in Nakusa, Wisconsin. It's actually through the Southwood County YMCA now. So the food program idea actually began about 3 years ago now. I was serving in the Nakusa School District through the AmeriCorps program, focused on academic support for kindergarten through third grade students. And I quickly learned that food insecurity and hunger was impacting all of the kids that I was working with. I had some kids that would say, oh, I haven't eaten since school lunch yesterday, and it was almost school lunch that day. Or during some of the summer program, students would say, oh, can I have the extra lunches so I can bring them home to make sure my siblings and I eat? Which didn't sit with me well. So I met with my supervisor, Tracy Ruink, at the YMCA, and we spent a year kind of listening to the community, brainstorming ways that we could support the Nakusa community. As you can see on the middle slide, 53% of families in Nakusa are living in poverty or they're at risk of entering poverty. So if they lose a job or if they get sick, sometimes just missing a day or two of work could be the thing that sends them into poverty. So we really wanted to make sure we were supporting all of the family, not just students, although that's important to make sure that when they go home, they're getting fed. So we decided on a food pantry program and to transition from my academic role in AmeriCorps into food insecurity work. So we can go to the next slide. So the program officially began December of 2024, but we did spend the 2 months prior running food drive feuds through the middle school. So each grade actually got to compete and see who could bring in the most non-perishable food items, and the grade that won was going to get a pizza party, which really got the kids excited. So we brought in over, I don't have the exact numbers on me, but I know it's over 425 items into our food pantry, which is a pretty big deal for a small community like Nakusa, and it really helps set us on the right path for supporting families. So the pantry offers a monthly food package that has non-perishable food items. We include resource guides. I try to include recipes so families have new ways to use the food that's in the packages, because I recognize that it's pretty repetitive for some of them. So they can find new ways to use those items. And then I also try to include upcoming free or low-cost community event flyers. Not only do I want the families to spend more time together with their kids and engage, but I also want them to engage in the community. So that way they're seeing the support networks that already exist in their community, and maybe it's helping them connect with more people to get out of the situation that they're living in. We are the only food pantry that is in Nakusa and serves the Nakusa community. And we're fully funded by donations. We've been fortunate enough since we started that almost every month I have people that are either asking to send monetary donations or they're dropping off food at the Y for my supervisor to get to me in Nakusa. So that's been a blessing. And then we are currently serving 56 families, which is 230 people on a monthly basis, which a lot of that came when the November SNAP benefits were paused. I had 35 applications on November 1st come in, which added a significant amount of people, and I'm the only one that runs the food pantry. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but we've been able to expand and make sure that all 56 families are getting what they need in a timely manner. So you can go to the next slide. So this was what the pantry looked like when we opened it in December of 2024. The two people in the picture with me are McKenna Smith and Joe Servant. They're former CCLC, BGC staff for the Nakusa area. They were instrumental in helping me get the food drive feud going. Also building those shelves in that pantry space was incredibly difficult, so they were helpful in keeping me calm for that. And also they helped me bridge the gaps that I was facing because I'm not from Nakusa. And it is a small knit community, so sometimes it's harder for me to gain access to people that they had access to because they're already well established in the community. So we can go to the next slide. This is actually what the pantry looks like today. As you can see, it is very much different. So in April of this year, as some of you may know, AmeriCorps was temporarily paused, which I was an AmeriCorps member, and that eliminated my position for for a week or two, and then the YMCA was able to hire me on full time. But at the same time, the school decided they needed the classroom space back at the middle school, which left us with nowhere to put the pantry. So the on-site child care center in Nakusa, which is back in the elementary school I started in, is actually where we run out of now. And it is a small closet, as you can see. That's where we serve 230 people every single month, and it is growing. And then the picture on the left is the cart that I use with the bags that are prepackaged, and that's the door where I meet families and see if there's anything else that they need and then send them on their way. So I wanted to make sure I included it how we were and how we are now, because I think it is so important to know that you can absolutely make it work from any space, even if it seems like you're kind of going backwards, because we did lose about 85% of the space that we were working with. So the next slide. And so I wanted to include the 4 things that I feel are important as someone who did not aim to work in food insecurity and has found a serious passion for it. The first thing is to spend time learning from your community first, because they know what is best for them. Especially if you're someone like me. I'm from Upper Michigan, so I'm definitely not from the Nakusa area. And when I came in, it was very difficult for people to trust me that I was there with good intentions, not coming in to tell them how they needed things to be done. So listen to the community first, see what's offered and provide support where you can. Otherwise, meet the gaps where you see them. Also, I joined a bunch of coalitions, whether they were youth focused or food focused, so that way I could see what families were talking about. I actually went to La Crosse, Wisconsin to meet with Courtney from the YMCA about their program to see what they were offering and how I could implement that where I am. So that is the number one thing. The second is to know your limitations and offer what you can in a reasonable manner. So I went to La Crosse with the intentions of implementing the same type of program that Courtney's YMCA offers. And I quickly realized that it wasn't something we could do right away. So we scaled down and we offer the food pantry right now with the goals of growing into a Y on the Fly program. It's very rare that the way you expect something to go is how it will actually go. Losing my AmeriCorps position and also having to transition from a large space to a small space is a pretty big testament to the need to go with the flow. I'm someone who likes things to be the way I plan them to be, so that I had to learn pretty quickly to be the most helpful to the families I'm serving. And then the last is if you build it, they will come, which applies to more than the families that you're serving. A lot of times the community is not only aware of what they need, but they just don't know quite how to start it. So if someone comes along that can help support a program or create it, they'll reach out and kind of fill the gaps that you're not sure how you'll fit or you'll fill. Because in our case, I wasn't sure how we would sustain the program. And I thought, well, we're gonna have to run food drives all the time and work on that. It turns out a lot of the people in the community, they do that on their own. I have people that reach out to start food drives, people that send in monetary donations, or they ask what I need and they go pick it up for me. So the support is there. They just kind of need someone that's willing to, I guess, be the face of it is how I would word it. So yes, that is my part of the presentation.
Thank you, Nikki. You have done a lot in the last 3 years and been through kind of a lot in the last 3 years. So we really appreciate all of the wonderful things that you are doing in the Nakusa area. So again, if anybody has any questions for Nikki, you can kind of pop them in the chat. People are saying awesome. So we will then, if you do have anything you want to add, we will monitor the chat, continue to monitor the chat. So next, I would like to introduce Courtney Kramalis from the La Crosse area YMCA, and she will kind of explain all of the wonderful programs that they have been doing and for how long. Thanks, Courtney.
Hi. Yes. Okay. So I'm Courtney Kramalis. I am the Food Access Director at the La Crosse Area Family YMCA. I've actually had the pleasure of working both with Julie and Nikki, like Nikki mentioned. So I'm just so impressed with all the things that you guys have grown and done over the last couple of years, because I know that these are fairly new programs in your organizations. And so kudos to you. Here at my Y, we do a little bit of everything when it comes to food access. We have, of course, our USDA supported programs for CACFP and SFSP in our own out of school time programming. So we have before and after school care, we have a full day childcare center, and then we also have a standalone teen or youth center that is on our property as well that supports 10 to 17-year-olds. All of those programs, we are feeding kids, whether that is breakfast, lunch, snack, supper, additional snacks, things like that. We'll kind of get into that a little bit later. Nikki mentioned our Y on the Fly, which is a mobile initiative that we created. Started just as, you know, an idea, and we realized there was so much need outside of our own programs in our community. And so we wanted to develop an initiative that met the people where they were at in the lacrosse community. And so that is essentially a third branch for us, a rolling branch that goes into the community, breaking down those barriers of transportation. And then also it is free. So there is no membership attached to it. You don't have to be a Y member. You don't even have to be a child. It is for all ages. And so we bring, of course, food access. So meals and groceries. There's always some sort of physical enrichment piece to that, education, or kind of like some other enrichment activity, and then mental health resources as well for those. It started with one, and now we actually have 2 vehicles. So we are able to expand our reach over the last year. So we also, just to kind of talk about CACFP and at risk, that is our programs that are in-house primarily. So we support 6 weeks old all the way up until 18. And over the last year, we served almost, 190,000 reimbursable meals through the USDA program. So being part of CACFP really helps make sure that that program is sustainable, so that we do receive a little bit of reimbursement for those meals. We can make sure they're as healthy as possible, make sure that we are maximizing on how we can serve those kiddos. We have 17 sites. So those 15 before and after school sites, our full day childcare center I mentioned, and then the community center, the youth center. Next slide, please. So our Y on the Fly, that is a year-round program, but for the most part, as far as our food access work is concerned, we are doing most of our work during the summer months when those kids are out of school. So we have 27 local sites where we are going, meeting the kids where they're at, whether that's our own YMCA's, parks. We partner with libraries, other child serving organizations like the Boys and Girls Club in our community. We're in both of the different housing authorities here in La Crosse, and then some other rec spaces, pools, like wherever the kids are at in the summer, that's where we're serving the food. We have about 30 dedicated, we call them food crews, so 30 people doing this work on a daily basis out in our community between our Y on the Fly program and then just serving food in our building. So next slide, please. Also, we have expanded outside of La Crosse over the last 2 years. We have also now have a very robust rural food program. So we are serving a week's worth of breakfast and lunch to kiddos in Chaseburg, Norwalk, Black River Falls, and Arcadia. So we actually have 2 different sites in both Black River and Arcadia. So we have 6 sites total. Equaling about 700 kids weekly coming to participate in this program. Again, there's no cost. We try to find a very centralized location in these communities so that we try to make it as accessible as possible, especially with some different transportation barriers people have. Like I mentioned, it's 7 breakfasts and 7 lunches that they get to pick up. And then the next week, we're at the same place, same time. They come and they pick up a package of food for the next week. And that goes all summer long to help bridge that gap while those kiddos are out of school and don't have access to those meals while in school. Next slide, please. Okay, so we've talked a lot about how we've supported the kids in our community, but what we realized in 2022 was that we needed to come up with a solution to support the whole family, not just the kiddos. And so we did develop a food pantry here on site. As you can see, it started as a shelf, like many of you guys have shown. I think that's my biggest piece of advice for anyone looking to kind of start this work, is that it is absolutely okay to start small. don't bite off more than you can chew because this work can be a lot. And so just having a single shelf, and eventually, as you can see, we have taken over the entire basement of this YMCA. I don't even think that picture really does it justice because it doesn't show that it is our entire lower level. The kind of the difference between our program and a lot of other pantry work that's done in our community is that ours is completely mobile. So we are delivering directly to people's homes. We created that model because that was a gap we saw in our community, and we wanted to complement the programs that were already happening rather than duplicate pantry, like a shoppable pantry. We still very much value choice and people having a say in what they want to cook, what they know how to cook, what their family likes. And so we have a intake process that really dives into the things that those families would like and need. And we do curate boxes on a monthly basis that does provide that family with what they've asked for. So it's not only groceries for the month that we're providing, but also household goods, hygiene products, recipes, some, because of course, as much as we give them the things that they ask for, there is always the things that people just don't know. I mean, in pantry work, you see a lot of lentils and things like that. And so we want to make sure that that is still very much edible food for people, but maybe we just need to give them some resources so they know how to cook that for their family. I partner with our mental health director to create a monthly mental health newsletter called Food for Thought. And it is a newsletter that is designed to help kind of give some fun topics and resources for families and kind of engage them into some dinner table discussion. So not only are we providing the food for them, but hopefully encouraging them to eat meals as a family unit. And so that's really important to us, and something that I think our families have really enjoyed. It kind of just like mixes it up a little bit for them at night. We serve about 945 people monthly through this program, and we are growing fast. One of the, I guess, pieces of data that I collect with this is also the families that what we call graduate from the program, who may have used our program or services in the past, but have been able to get off of the program because whether we were just a small stop on their journey, or they have life circumstances have changed and they no longer need to use a food pantry to support their family. And so we have actually, since the inception of this program, been able to graduate about 420 people, which is something that we're really proud of, to be able to give them kind of a good foundation to jump off of. So yeah, I think this might be my last slide, but I will dive into some of the other questions. I just want to Yes. Okay. So some of the other things I guess I wanted to talk about was that I think all of the different ways that we are serving food, whether Julie or Nikki, I think they're very non-traditional ways of having food pantries in very like what I would consider stigma-free spaces. People are already coming to our spaces, coming to the Y, they're already part of our community. And so to be able to offer a program that doesn't feel like another stop for these families to have to make, I think has been really important. And I have heard really great feedback on that. Overall, I kind of want to mention that we served 460,000 meals this last year between our reimbursable programs and our food pantry. And that we've been doing this work for 25 years, but those numbers are over the last couple years that has happened just because we've seen such an increase in need. Of course, we're all aware of just kind of the climate with SNAP and stuff over the recent months. And so I think that definitely increased our need in our community as well. But I guess that's our program in a nutshell. Yeah, I'm just really happy to be able to do this work every day and help support the families in our community, and now, even expanding our reach. So my suggestion for anyone who would kind of be interested in growing your program or doing this work is, reach out to the people. Like Julie and Nikki said, we've all worked together. So we bounce ideas off each other. We really learn from each other, what works, what doesn't, things that work in La Crosse may not work in Nakusa and vice versa. And like Nikki said, talking with the people in your community, coming up with a plan that's going to fit your community best, and not just making assumptions off the bat of what you think will will fit, because it's not food access. It's not necessarily like a one size fits all for every community. So that's where I'll end that.
Well, thank you, Courtney. We do have a couple of questions in here. So I'm going to go ahead. And so, Courtney, this is specifically kind of for you. As far as the Y on the fly and the mobile market, do you know of any outreach options like these available in like inner cities like Milwaukee? So we have a child care worker who is looking for those kinds of options in the Milwaukee area.
You know, off the top of my head, I am not 100% sure if the YMCA specifically does anything like that down there. I do know that Hunger Task Force of Milwaukee has they are a very robust food bank, and they help support smaller pantries like ours. If I were to want to find a one-stop shop to try to figure out if there's something available, I would reach out to the Hunger Task Force of Milwaukee. They would likely have a list of places to direct you. I am guessing Milwaukee is so urban, they probably have mobile deliveries similar to mine.
So we've got some other folks just commenting what great work you guys are doing and how inspirational this is and how they're going to be reaching out to you. We've got a person who is the goal is to be able to give back. She and some family did a book bag giveaway with food and games. So it felt good to kind of do that. So here's another question. So, and this can be for all of you. Do most of your food donations come from individual donations, or do you have some that are coming from local farms?
I can answer that as far as how we get our food. We have a very diverse sourcing model here at the Y. We, of course, do food drives. Our community loves to support our work. Our members love to support our work. We also partner with Hunger Task Force here in La Crosse. So that is a food bank that helps support smaller pantries. Like I mentioned, the one in Milwaukee. Dane County would be Second Harvest Food Bank. There, I'm not well versed in the entire
They have,
state.
Feed My People in the northern
Yes.
area, and then Feeding America in the
Yes.
eastern part of the state as well.
Yes. Also, Feeding America is a partner of ours too. So we are able to purchase food, either get it free or purchase it at a very small dollar amount. Usually it's about 20 cents a pound. That is Feeding America. Ours is Channel 1 out of Rochester. They do have them all throughout the state, and you can become a partner of theirs as well. We also have, we are a TFAP pantry, which is the Emergency Assistance Food Program. It is a government program, so it is federal government commodities. So that is a completely free program as well. It comes with some different rules and regulations of how you can run your program. And so if you're looking for a program that really has kind of like no strings attached to it and no applications and no income restrictions, that is not necessarily, I wouldn't steer you in that direction. If you're looking to, just support the families in a really like low barriers way, that's been helpful to us just because we have expanded so much and food can be such a hard thing to source. And then of course we do have just a budget for our program that is in our organization's budget, so that we can purchase food as necessary as well. So.
And another question, again, for all three of, because I think this goes towards, so a participant wants to know if they wanted to start a little food pantry at their daycare, how can they go about doing that? Because again, we're talking about costs and size and families. So how would you recommend them going about that?
I can answer the question as well. Julie, I think you probably a little more well-versed in having a smaller pantry inside your childcare center. We do not have that, but I would say that our childcare center families have access to our larger program. Like I said before, I think just like this starting small, that's okay. If you have the means or you have an extra shelf or extra closet laying around, I mean, don't be afraid to utilize that. I think you could even start by engaging your community, the people you already serve, your child, maybe not necessarily your child care center parents to do a food drive, but like Julie mentioned, she started one, and then some of the parents in her at her center were like, hey, we have this, we want to help you, and they wanted to pitch in. We have had really great success partnering with other businesses in the area to kind of do similar to what Nikki was talking about, like a food drive, battle of the branches kind of thing, a food feud. The boys basketball team of the local high school, they love to do stuff like that. And so I would say, if you have a small shelf and you want to put it on and you want to just have signage that there's no like application, it's just take what you need, leave what you can kind of thing, like Julie was saying, I think that would be a great way to start, but I guess I'll let you guys chime in too.
Another way that I have found that works well is the holiday season. So like we just had our staff appreciation luncheon, and we asked staff, to donate any non-perishable food items when we do like Christmas programs or holiday programs. We ask if parents want to, feel free to donate, and we see parents bringing in supplies that way. And then example for Thanksgiving, our families wanted to give back, and so that was another thing, just putting it in our newsletter. And we saw, you'd be amazed on how families want to help one another, especially around that holiday season. You might start small, but it can grow with people. That's a way for people to help each other. And they, beyond the food, we also have seen diapers and winter items come in, and baby food formula. They're willing to help families out.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, Nikki.
The only thing I was going to add is your school districts often have like parent-teacher associations or just parent groups that are looking for things that they can do to support the community. I know in our case, the parent group at the elementary school is doing a food drive for the food pantry that I'm kind of hands off in. They're doing that through one of their events that they're hosting. And almost all of our events, we have donation options for people. But the last thing is our school district actually posted the flyer for our food pantry. And in addition to they do that regularly. In addition to the applications I get for the food pantry, a lot of the families find out that we're in the community, and they reach out on their own and ask how they can support it and get food to families.
Thank you. There was also a question that kind of goes with this as starting a food pantry. Are there any licensing rules against having someone start a pantry in their childcare or in a childcare setting? Jesse, I'm going to throw this maybe to you, Jesse Millington, who is a staff member at the Wisconsin Out of School Time. Jesse, would you have a second to maybe answer if you know of anything here?
I would suggest to talk to your licensor, just mainly because there could be some special circumstances or some special rules around folks coming in and out, and around the food piece. So I would talk to your licensor because they'd be able to give you some specific area rules around that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Also, Jill, if you guys need help finding who your local licensor is, please reach out. I can help you find that.
And we will have a slide at the end that gives the WASTA email on here. So I do want to say there's some other folks in here, which I can't agree more with Janessa, is connect with your local food bank. are a great resource and can help you navigate safe practices. And even if it becomes, and you could be a satellite for that food bank. So if you know you're serving the same families, that food bank can help you have food available, because they would then be able to help count those folks too. So I appreciate those questions. Any other questions from our folks here? Well, if there isn't, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Jen, thank you for putting in the WASTA email in the chat. You can find that. On the screen here, you will be able to see that there is a QR code. This is a QR code right for the WASTA organization. It gets you to our link tree where you can sign up to get newsletters or information, or even our social media, which we help support programs that are doing food drives and things like that. So we welcome you to be part of our list serve to get any information on our programs that are happening. So I do want to just say again, thank you so much to Julie, Nikki, and Courtney for being here today, as well as all of you for joining us today. Thank you for the work that you do on behalf of children and families in the state of Wisconsin. I hope that you have an opportunity in the next couple of weeks to digest some of this information and really utilize it and put it to work. We enjoy sharing these strategies, and we hope that you share this with others as well. So again, if you want to learn more about WASTA and the professional developments we offer, please go ahead and scan the QR code, or you can head to our website, www.wosta.org. And you can certainly sign up for our information at that time. So thank you all for joining, and have a great rest of your day.